Tonight's the night, and it's going to happen again and again. Hello, Dexter Morgan fans, and welcome to another Dexter-related video. As you already know by now, I reviewed every single episode of Dexter Resurrection, and I also did a Dexter Seasons rank, which you should definitely check out if you haven't done so already. And now it's time to rank all the villains/antagonists in the show Dexter. I've got 25 villains/antagonists from Dexter, all of which but one were in 2 or more episodes of Dexter. I am including all the serial killer club members from Dexter Resurrection. So Lowell, played by Neil Patrick Harris, was only in 1 episode, will be included in this ranking because everybody loves Neil Patrick Harris. And just so you all know, I'm not going to be including Dokes, LaGuerta, and Batista. They're not antagonists in my opinion. They're not villains. They're more adversaries of Dexter, but they're good people. And they never killed anybody. Well, Dokes killed people, but he was special forces. So I'm not going to include them. I know some of you that do ranking videos for Dexter will include them, and that's fine. I'm just not going to, but I will do a ranking of the characters that are involved in law enforcement in Dexter, and they will be on that ranking, as well as Frank Lundy, Captain Matthews, random people from the show Dexter that were involved with law enforcement. So that's a ranking that you'll see them on. Obviously, if you're a Dexter fan, Dexter New Blood fan, Dexter Original Sin fan, or Dexter Resurrection fan, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button to avoid being put on my table and wrapped in plastic. Share this video with everybody that you know. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms, especially MySpace, because we all are addicted to MySpace. And, make sure that you leave your ranking in the comments section. Any thoughts that you have Dexter related, leave as many comments as you want. I'll be there, but all the rest of my Dexter fanatics will be there. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, T. Parker Evans, Rusty Reels, Brad Hawk Talk, Vinny Lima, and Troy McClure. So interact with us in the comment section. And like I always mention, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe, motherfucker. Help me get over 100k subs. Yes, I know I set my goals high. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV. It's time for my top 25 Dexter villains/antagonists. And in 25th place, I'm going to go with Lewis Green. He was Masuka's intern in Dexter Season 6 and has a little bit of a role in Dexter Season 7. He canceled all of Dexter's credit cards on him because he was upset that Dexter didn't have any interest in his video game that he made, and he should know that Dexter is more of a National Geographic type of guy that listens to marching music in his vehicle. So ultimately, he didn't do a lot. He didn't kill anybody. He was just more of a computer hacker kind of guy, but he was lame. And nobody really likes him. He did have a relationship with Jamie Batista, so that's a plus. But ultimately, weak, not very memorable, and I'm putting him in 25th place. Coming in 24th place, I'm going to go with Lowell, the tattoo collector from Dexter Resurrection, played by Neil Patrick Harris. He didn't do a lot. He's only in 1 episode of Dexter. I think people just like him because he's Neil Patrick Harris, but ultimately he was weak. He did have a funny line, "Tonight's the night, baby." But Dexter made short work of him, and that's why I'm putting him in 24th place. Coming in 23rd place, I'm going to go with the Skinner, George King, from Dexter Season 3. He wasn't the main villain of Season 3, and then you have Miguel Prado die in the penultimate episode in Season 3, and then he becomes like one of the main focal points in the finale of Season 3. But he's not very memorable. However, his co-workers, the people under him, are absolutely terrified of him. And he did skin Anton, and it really affected Deb, but that's really all he did. Nobody really likes the Skinner. But I feel like he's a little creepy, so I put him a little bit higher than last place, but not very high. So that's why the Skinner, George King, is my number 23. Coming in 24th place, and some of you might be upset by the placement of this character, I'm going to go with Gareth, the Gemini Killer, played by David Dastmalchian. There ended up being two of them. They didn't last very long. Dexter outsmarted him pretty well. You think the guy would be a little bit more calculated than that. I like the performance. I wish we would have had more time with the Gemini Killers. But ultimately, like I said, Dexter made short work of him. And that's why I put the Gemini Killers, Gareth, at number 22. Number 21, I'm going to go with Paul Bennett, who we're led to believe is not a killer, but was abusive to Rita. That's Rita's ex-husband and the father of Aster and Cody. I was going to say Aster and Troy for some reason. Not sure why I was going to say Troy, but nonetheless, he was kind of smart. He knew that Dexter attacked him, and he knew that his shoe was missing. But ultimately, we didn't get a lot of time with Paul Bennett. He was busy being the leader of the island in Lost. Well, he was doing that before he got on the show. But, yeah, I mean, he didn't do a lot, and then he got killed in prison or jail. So that's why Paul Bennett is my number 21. Coming in 20th place, some of you might be upset that this is a little low, but these are people that didn't do a lot on the show. I'm going to go with Mia LaPierre, otherwise known as Lady Vengeance, from Dexter Resurrection, played by Kristen Ritter. I'm a big fan of Kristen Ritter. I like a few roles that she was on. Breaking Bad. She was also in the movie with Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher. What's it called again? Whatever It Takes. That might be wrong, the title, but nonetheless, she did really good in the time that she had on Dexter. We thought she was a killer with a code, but then it turned out, yeah, her first couple of kills were like that, but then she just wanted to kill people to have fun. And that's when she turned a little bit evil. And then supposedly she got killed in jail. Or did she? Because her file still says active. We don't know. It would be cool to see her again, but I don't think we will. Who knows? But that's why Mia LaPierre, the Lady Vengeance, is my number 20. Coming in 19th place, and I have to admit this character isn't really fresh in my head, is going to be Captain Aaron Spencer from Dexter Original Sin. While Original Sin just aired this year, or late last year into this year, it's not fresh in my head because I've been watching some seasons of Dexter over again, and then I've been watching a few New Blood stuff, and then I've been watching, of course, Dexter Resurrection. So I'm kind of forgetting details of Dexter Original Sin. He was so obvious that he was a killer that it made me think, is he just a red herring? But he ultimately killed kids, which I don't really appreciate, and he cut his own son's body part off, or his finger, or I can't remember, was it his toe or his finger now? I can't remember. But, he didn't really put up much in a fight. Dexter took care of him relatively easy, and weird that Miami Metro has all these people that are involved with being a murderer. So that's why Captain Eric Spencer, who was played by Patrick Dempsey, is going to be my number 19. Coming in 18th place, this might be one that you disagree with. You'd think he'd be lower. I'm going to go with Ronald Red Schmidt. Played by Mark Mencha. I can't remember his last name, how to pronounce it, but he was in Ozark Season 1 and then made appearances in Ozark after that. I thought he was really, evil and menacing and, I don't know, there's just something about him. That's why I'm putting him a little bit higher than some of these other people from Resurrection. I liked his character. He was in at least 2 episodes. He might have been in the first episode, too. I can't remember, but like I said, he was kind of eerie, chilling, and just decapitating people. I thought that's really cool. Maybe you don't agree with me, but you know what? It's my ranking, and make sure you leave your ranking in the comment section. So, Ronald Red Schmidt is my number 18. For 17th place, I'm going to choose Jacob Elway. A character who I don't like that was on Dexter Season 8. To my knowledge, he didn't kill anybody, but he was just a damn asshole to Deborah Morgan, Deb, as well as he just was relentless in the pursuit of Hannah McKay. All he really wanted was money. Again, he didn't kill anybody. He didn't really affect Dexter all that much. I mean, a little bit, but ultimately, he is more of a villain for Hannah and an asshole to Deb. So I had to put Elway on the list simply because, I don't think I'm going to include him in law enforcement. He's like a bail bondsman, essentially. So maybe that counts, maybe it doesn't, but I'm putting him as an antagonist because I think he's a relentless villain who might have a secret past that killed people. So Jacob Elway, number 17. In 16th place, I'm going to go with Travis Marshall, the Doomsday Killer from season 6 of Dexter, played by Colin Hanks. Not a big fan of the season. He had the same thing that Dexter has, where he talks to a ghost that's not really there, with Ghost Professor Geller, who was played by Edward James Olmos, who I knew from the get-go wasn't real, just because nobody else was acknowledging Professor Geller, and Travis Marshall was the only person talking to him. I didn't need to wait till Get Geller to figure out that twist in the show. But I don't know, he wasn't that strong of a villain. I think his kills were cool, but ultimately, like, Dexter made short work of him. However, Travis Marshall did kidnap Harrison, baby Harrison, so he's got to be higher up the list for that. But ultimately, I wasn't very interested in this character all that much, trying to fool us thinking he was a good guy and just the Geller was the bad guy. Yeah, that didn't go over my head. So Travis Marshall, my number 16. In 15th place, I'm going to go with Jordan Chase. Tick, tick, tick. You finished in 15th place on my list. He, of course, was the head of like the Barrel Girl gang. I can't remember what the specific name they gave them was, but played by Johnny Lee Miller. He was okay. Kind of like a let everybody else do his own dirty work for him. He had a different identity. He was known as somebody else at one point in time. That name is escaping me at the moment. Personally, I think the smartest guy of that crew was Boyd Fowler, because he figured out Dexter quicker than anybody else did, and nobody else really figured him out. But yeah, he was the one that essentially tormented Lumen Pierce, and that's why he made the list at number 15. He might be a little low in some of your opinions, but I don't know. I just think he didn't do that much, although he was vindictive and had definitely a checkered past, that's for sure. So Jordan Chase, number 15. Coming in 14th place, maybe some of you wouldn't include this character on your ranking, but I am. I'm going with Christine Hill. An underrated character on Dexter, a reporter chick that gets into a relationship with Joey Quinn to get information, and we find out as a twist that she's actually the daughter of Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, his older daughter. And I liked her character. She actually killed Frank Lundy and shot Deborah Morgan and then killed herself when they found out. I like her character a lot. She's one of my favorite characters on the show. And not a lot of people would say that, but I like Christine Hill. She's a little easy on the eyes too, which is always a plus. So Christine Hill, number 14. In 13th place, I'm going with some characters on this ranking that weren't in very many episodes, but they had a big impact on the show. My number 13 is going to be Little Chino, who was in the season 2 premiere, as well as the second episode in season 2. Little Chino being his nickname, but he's not very little. He's huge. He's gigantic. I would say, from what I know, the biggest villain in terms of height on the show Dexter, but I could be wrong with that. But he was a strong adversary where Dexter had some problems with him. Maybe Dexter was thrown off by all of his all the findings that were found in the ocean. But Little Chino was certainly memorable, and I had to put him on the list because he was pretty ruthless. He would kill anybody, kids, women, whoever. Don't want to mess with Little Chino. Luckily, Dexter was able to get him on his table and take care of him. So Little Chino, my number 13. For number 12, I'm going to go with Al Jolly, otherwise known as Rapunzel from Dexter Resurrection, played by Eric Stonestreet. Pretty good character. We thought he was going to be this aw shucks type of guy. He was actually very smart. He knew, like, I don't want to be anywhere near Red at this point because people are dropping, my friends are dropping like flies now with Lady Vengeance, Lowell, Red, or not Red, because Red was Red, Dexter, but he was on to Red, otherwise known as Dexter, and he chucked that phone out the window like, you're not going to track me, motherfucker. And I hope they don't just make him like a one-off in season 2. I hope we get more time with Rapunzel, as he was very, there's something very eerie about him, and it was very, watching him kill that chick on the bike path was a little bit traumatizing with his laugh. He had like a Trinity complex to a degree in there where he turned in like a little kid. But I think Rapunzel, hopefully we get more from him, like a lot more, and not just Dexter killing him and that's it. Hopefully he's in like 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 more episodes. in season 2, assuming we're going to get Eric Stone Street back in season 2. So Rapunzel, Al Jolly, my number 12. My number 11 is going to be Stan Liddy from Dexter season 5, played by Peter Weller, otherwise known as RoboCop. I don't know if he's ever killed anybody, so he's more of an adversary. But man, he was on Dexter like crazy. I mean, it was Joey Quinn directing him, but I mean, he was going above and beyond to find out things about Dexter. Like, he had him dead to rights with him and Lumen on the boat with trash bags, and he didn't fuck around. He was good with words, and he just wanted money because of losing his job because of La Guerta being the sting operation that they did. But yeah, Stan Liddy is very memorable. Anybody that doesn't include Stan Liddy on their villain/antagonist ranking should redo the video, which technically I forgot Liddy. Like, I recorded this video once already and forgot Liddy, and I had to redo the whole thing because it just changed the placement of that. So somehow, someway, I forgot to put Stan Liddy on my list, but he is my number 11. So we've reached the top 10, the upper echelon of Dexter villains, and maybe my opinion would change if you asked me tomorrow. My number 10 is going to be Kurt Caldwell, played by Clancy Brown from Dexter New Blood. I was thinking we would get a more vicious serial killer with Kurt Caldwell because his son said, "My dad is gonna rage hell on all you," whatever he said. And Kurt Caldwell ultimately didn't really do a lot. Like, as far as a serial killer goes and what his ritual is, having a woman locked up somewhere, then letting her run away, and then shooting her from behind. I don't know if that's all that impressive, and he didn't really do anything. He was going to try to kill Harrison at one point, but that didn't work out, and Dexter, to a degree, kind of took care of him easily. Yeah, he had some evidence against Dexter. He put the rod things in the mailbox for Angela to see, but I don't know, wasn't that impressed with Kurt Caldwell. I think I had him a little bit higher last time I did this ranking, which I didn't rewatch that video because I want to go into a video with a fresh perspective. So, Kurt Caldwell, my number 10. Coming in ninth place, which might surprise some of you because this character was only in 2 episodes of Dexter, but I'm going to go with Ray Speltzer from Dexter season 7. This was the guy that was wearing like the Minotaur mask thing. Maybe that's not the proper term for it. But he was really, like, vicious, and, like, Deb was okay with Dexter killing him. Remember when Deb was trying to keep her eye on Dexter and wouldn't let him leave the house and stuff like that, and she didn't want him to kill anymore, but then when she found out what Speltzer was doing, she was, like, okay with it, and then Dexter ends up cremating Speltzer and actually putting his blood sides in there, too, because that leaves evidence behind. But Speltzer's really memorable. Maybe he's a little higher than he should be. I don't know. I thought he was memorable enough to put him in the top 10, but you probably disagree with me, and that's fine. Cancel me, write your list or ranking in the comments section. So Speltzer, my number 9. Number 8, I'll probably get canceled for sure. Oliver Saxon, otherwise known as Daniel Vogel from Dexter Season 8. I know a lot of you are not happy with this character. Yeah, sometimes he has a dumb look on his face. He doesn't have a lot of charisma. I get it, but he affected Dexter quite a bit. He killed Vogel, who was like a mom to Dexter, in the short time that he knew her. He killed Zach Hamilton, who's like a son to Dexter. He was going to teach him the code, or started teaching him the code already. He would have got better about it. He was a little rusty at first, or didn't know what to do at first. He was a little, not as much of a veteran when it came to the code. But, and then, of course, he shoots Deb, which ultimately leads to Deb having the surgery that causes her to have complications and become a vegetable. So, he's memorable to me. I know he does have that dumb look on his face a lot, and he doesn't have a lot of charisma, but I thought he was very, expressionless. Didn't have a lot of expression on his face, and that's kind of like what I think of serial killers. Like, they don't show a lot of emotion. I think he portrayed that very well. You could argue with me. I'm not going to dispute it. I think he's a good villain. And Dexter, I don't hate Season 8 as much as all you do. Check out my seasons rank that I posted yesterday. Or if you're watching this video months later, it's the video I did before this video. But I like Oliver Saxon. And, he really impacted Dexter. So that's why I put him at number 8. Number 7 is going to be our newest big bad, Leon Prater, played by Peter Dinklage from Dexter Resurrection. I was debating on putting him on the list going into episode 9. I'm like, God, I'm kind of working on my rough draft of my villain slash antagonist, and he hasn't really done anything that really makes him a villain. He just really likes serial killers, but to my knowledge, he hasn't killed yet, unless, of course, he's the New York Ripper, which would make sense because it usually is the more obvious choice, it seems, since New Blood started. But then he, of course, turned and got a lot more interesting and then killed Angel or Angel Batista, and yeah, he's definitely a villain in my eyes now. And he's one of those villains that like all he cares. He reminds me of the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase from WWF and WCW. Everybody's got a price, sort of thing. But yeah, he was memorable. Blackmailing Charlie to agree. Like, well, he didn't really blackmail her, but he had a file ready in case like Charlie tried some stuff. But Leon Prater was pretty good. I'm glad Peter Dinklage was in this season of Dexter Resurrection. It's a shame that he didn't last longer. I'm tired of these killers getting taken out in the season. I want to have like a killer that's a long-term killer on Dexter. If they can do that, make a killer last for like 3 seasons. Like the killer just keeps getting away. But I guess that wouldn't be as entertaining instead of just having him, so you could just have him get killed in the finale of each season. But Leon Prater, pretty impressive. And that's why he's my number 7. Number 6, I'm going to go with Lila West, otherwise known as Lila Turner, from Dexter Season 2, played by Jamie Murray. She wasn't always really a villain slash antagonist, and of course, we know her as Miss Pardon My Tits. Deb hates her, and ultimately, she's the one that's responsible for James Dokes' death. I don't know what Dexter was going to do with Dokes. We don't know for sure what he's going to do. If he was really going to go with the plan of turning himself in, we don't know. But Lila is the reason why Dokes died. She was absolutely obsessed with Dexter. And you know what? I feel like they had more of a connection than Dexter and Rita in season 2, at least. Maybe you don't agree with that. Just my opinion. But Lila was certainly a menace, and a lot of people hated her character. But at least she made things more interesting. And the line of her, who the hell are you, to Deb? And, oh, pardon my tits. Just hilarious. I like her character quite a bit. And I hope we see her again in Dexter, even if it's just a hallucination. I wish she would have lasted a little bit longer. I think they should have stretched out her through season 3, like had her die somewhere through season 3 instead of just having her die right before the end of season 2. Seemed a little quick in my opinion. But Lila, certainly memorable. And that's why Lila is my number 6. Coming in 5th place, one of my favorite characters on Dexter. That's really not a villain to Dexter, at least. And she's more of an antagonist to other people. But she does kill people. And that, of course, would be Hannah McKay, played by the timeless beauty, Yvonne Strahovski. I love Hannah's character. I thought she's one of the more smarter characters on Dexter. With one exception, she made one blunder, in my opinion, and that's when she took Harrison to the hospital and didn't disguise herself at all, other than using a different name. Put a wig on. Give yourself a haircut. Dye your hair. Do something. But Hannah McKay was great. She was more of like an adversary for Deb. She poisons people. She puts sleeping pills in your stuff. She only kills when she has to. She doesn't like killing. And she ultimately ends up being the one that raises Harrison, which I'm glad that they finally shed light on that in Dexter Resurrection, instead of just killing her off with pancreatic cancer and then not talking about her again. Now they're giving her props, saying that she was essentially Harrison's mom, just not his biological mom. So both of his moms should be proud of him, Rita and Hannah. Now, I hope we see Hannah again. I feel like Hannah should come back as somebody that Harrison sees when Harrison's going through his trauma. He thinks of good times with Hannah or something like that. And I think Dexter should see Hannah too. It's just my opinion. Will it happen? Probably not. But as important as that character was in the final 2 seasons of Dexter, I think they should strongly consider using her again if she's really dead, which seems like she is dead now for sure. But who knows? We didn't see her die. So that's why Hannah McKay is my number 5. And now we have another character that, was a villain, an antagonist, but also was kind of friends with Dexter at points. And that would be Isaac Serco, who was played by Ray Stevenson in season 7 of Dexter. He was part of the Koshka Brotherhood, which in my first recording of this video, I couldn't remember the Koshka Brotherhood. I keep wanting to say the KGB, and I'm like, I know that's not right, but, brain fog, and I don't have any notes in front of me other than the list that I have. I don't have any notes about characters or anything like that. I'm just shooting from the hip when it comes to talking about these characters. But Isaac Serco was awesome as a villain. I don't really think of him as a bad guy on the show. Like, he was badass. He was like a James Bond type character. When he went into that bar and took care of all those guys, that was pretty badass. And eventually, he's mad that Dexter killed his boyfriend. Dexter should have, your boyfriend killed a stripper, and he also killed our beloved Mike Anderson, one of our detectives. But I liked Isaac Serco quite a bit. I think he's a little underrated. He's just not menacing enough. Like, he didn't do any really bad villainous things, and that's why he's never that high on people's ranking. It's usually like top 10, but not towards the top. So maybe he should have been in second or third place, but I had to put him in fourth place. But certainly memorable character, and rest in peace to Ray Stevenson, the actor that played him, that died a few years ago. So Isaac Serco in fourth place. We've reached the final three, my top three villains in Dexter. And of course, I'll do this ranking again. I'm not exactly sure if I'll do it right after Resurrection Season 2. Maybe I'll wait a couple of years. Who knows? It depends on how great the season is and how great the villains are. For my third place, I'm going to go with Miguel Prado, played by Jimmy Smits from Season 3 of Dexter. Now, I wish Miguel would have survived to at least the finale of Dexter Season 3, but he was really good, and he was like a friend of Dexter, like he was his best man at his wedding, and then he just kind of, he took killing to the next step and wanted to just keep killing when there's a process that you have to go through. You have to scout the people that you're going to kill, but he just wanted to kill Ellen Wolf just like that. And it was cool that Dexter had somebody that he could talk to, because he had killed Brian right away. But this is like the first friend that he had that he could talk to about what he does and his urges. And I think that was pretty cool. Now, Miguel Prado was vicious, and he also had a lot of connections. Like, he had access to things that other serial killers in Dexter didn't have. And it made him more of a tough adversary to take out. And that scene with him and Dexter on top of that rooftop, that was incredible. I've always been kind of negative about Season 3, but rewatching it recently, it's gotten a little bit better in my opinion, and Miguel Prado is definitely one of the reasons why Season 3 has its good moments, so he definitely is in third place. In the second place, I'm going to go with Brian Moser, the ice truck killer. At one time was known as Rudy Cooper, Dexter's long-lost brother, Biney. What a great villain. It's good to see that Brian came back in Dexter Resurrection for a short scene. We also saw him in Season 6 of Dexter in the episode Nebraska. And we saw him, obviously, in Season 1, and then a little bit here and there. But he's a great villain. He knew he'd been watching Dexter, apparently, for a really, really long time. And he was really good. And he wanted Dexter to kill Deb because he's his real family. I wish he wouldn't have done that. I think it would be cool if Dexter would have let him go, but obviously, he's killing a lot of people, and Dexter needed to put a stop to that. But great villain. Don't really think of him as a bad villain. He's more of a friend to Dexter. Like, he never tried to really kill Dexter. He just wanted to take out Deb. So Brian Moser, the ice truck killer, is my number 2. It would have been cool to see like the relationship develop with him in season Original Sin. Well, it wasn't a relationship, but like how much he was watching Dexter and whatnot. But unfortunately, it sounds like we're not getting another Original Sin. So as it stands right now, Brian Moser, the ice truck killer, is going to be my number 2. Coming in as my number 1 villain on Dexter. You probably already knew what my number 1 was once you started this video. That was my number 1 the last time. And I believe I made another video before the last time. He was my number 1 before that. Of course, I'm talking about Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer in Dexter Season 4. Also, a very, very brief cameo in Dexter New Blood, as well as a scene in Dexter Resurrection, which I thought was awesome. Hello, Dexter Morgan fans. Arthur Mitchell was amazing. John Lithgow did a phenomenal job. I think the reason why he did so good is it seemed like they gave him a lot of time on the show. Like, if you have a counter of how much time the actors or actresses have as far as who's on the show. I feel like he got a lot of time as one of the bad guys, where the other bad guys didn't get as much time as Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer. Maybe that's wrong, but he certainly got a lot of time to develop on the show, and he was eerie. He was kind of a good combination of everything. So, yeah, Arthur Mitchell, and obviously he affected Dexter quite a bit with the killing of Rita in the season 4 finale, The Getaway. So, Arthur Mitchell is my number 1. So, that's my ranking of all the Dexter villains and antagonists. Come back to this channel tomorrow. I'll have another Dexter ranking video. I'm not exactly sure which one it'll be yet, because I haven't recorded it yet. That's my next thing to do after this, which this is done now. I'll probably do my top 10 favorite Dexter episodes, and then, of course, I'll be ranking the Dexter love interests, as well as my top 50 Dexter characters. So it'll be one of those videos, probably the episodes, because I can do that a little bit quicker than the Dexter law enforcement people. We'll see. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you're a Dexter fan of any of the Dexter shows and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, go ahead and Hulk smash the like button to help me out. It does help out the channel quite a bit, because if you don't, I'm going to have to put you on my table or Brian's table, wrap you up in plastic, and we know what happens after that. You share the video with a friend. Anybody that you know that likes Dexter, make sure you send them this video. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms, especially MySpace, and start emailing the video to everybody as well. Facebook, X, TikTok, whatever. I'm not sure what you can do on TikTok as far as sharing. I do have a TikTok account, but I'm relatively new to it. And then don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on my ranking of the top 25 Dexter villains / antagonists. Be sure to check out the law enforcement ranking. That's going to be similar to this, but just people that have worked at Miami Metro or other law people like Frank Lundy, Special Agent Frank Lundy. But make sure you leave your ranking. If you don't want to do 25, that's understandable. If you want to do your top 5 or top 10, that's fine. But definitely leave comments, anything Dexter related. And then last but certainly not least, I've already said this once, but I'll say it again. Don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe, motherfucker. Help me get over 100K subscribers. Yes, I know that's a high goal. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.